Hey there. If you have been feeling like you are scattered, like you're frantic, you are running around trying to do too much, nearly every day, it feels as though there's some new must-have tool, a must-do strategy, or some must-attend event, whether it's virtual or live. And then there's the need to be on social media, right? And here I am today. You got to be there sharing, you've got to be commenting, you've got to be seen everywhere and on a continuous basis. And that's true to a degree because we're all trying to position and pre-sell ourselves to an ideal audience, but you can then get caught up in constantly attending these webinars. You get a dozen or more newsletters. Many of them are on the same subject. You're spending time watching videos. You're participating in live chats, or you take courses, attend events, and end up confused, frustrated, and overwhelmed by everything coming at you and everything that you're trying to participate in, while you're looking for that one magic thing that's going to give you the big breakthrough without working as hard as you currently feel that you are. So what ends up then happening is that we feel like we're taking action and that we're doing things, right? We're busy all day, but what is happening is we're really not taking the actions that we need to take to get to that next level of success and ultimately to reach our goals. And we have to admit that we're caught up in activity or motion, as best-selling author James Clear calls it in his book, Atomic Habits, but we're really not making that progress that we want to make. There's something that's going on, and it's something that you have to confront. And that's what we're going to talk about today. There is no single thing. There just isn't. There's no magic wand. There's no magic beans. No tool or strategy is going to work if you are missing the foundational elements needed to make that tool work. So in this video, I'll be looking at what could be driving you to continuously sign up for and attend virtual or live events, checking in and constantly posting to social media, and buying into this concept that you've got to engage in this continuous activity and do everything yourself and just constantly get information out there and consume information constantly. My name's Winnie Anderson. I'm a positioning and content strategist. I work with introverted, mission-driven professionals, service firm providers, entrepreneurs who are ready to make a bigger impact and ready to profit from their expertise. I'm also a Jersey girl, so you're always going to get my clear, unvarnished opinion, straight recommendations from me. So you might want to just beware of that. Hold on to your hat. I'm also the host of the Courageous Entrepreneur Show. That is the show that shares information and inspiration to help you break free from self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and disempowering patterns, and break through to create the thriving, successful business that you dream of and that you deserve. That's a big one. And I've been doing a mini series this month that focuses on facing your fears. In the first two episodes or parts in that series, I interviewed the fabulous Susie Gruber. She was in part one. And last week, I interviewed my bestie buddy, Sue Weeks, who is an outstanding tech trainer, tech expert, and podcast producer. And we talked about facing your fear of technology. In this video, I'm going to help you face your fear of missing out, which is also referred to as FOMO. Now, this video is only going to be available until Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you know that this is something that you want to watch, but you are not going to watch it now because you're working, totally fine. You can then make sure you access this special episode of the Courageous Entrepreneur Show, this mini series, and get all of the back episodes in the catalog, along with bonus content, worksheets in some cases. You can get that by signing up to become a fan of the show and get access to the show's vault. And you can get that at couragepodcastfan.com and sign up. Of course, it's free. It's a treasure trove of information on how you can really break through and get to the next level of success that you keep saying you want. So, couple of other things I want to mention. Of course, I've got notes here. I've got my notes, my camera, I've got my second monitor, and I've got notes that are in front of me too. So I'm going to be glancing at all of them at some point. Of course, obviously, I want you to make comments, ask questions, so please feel free to do that. You know, I always circle back and respond to everyone who posts while the video is live, so be sure and do that. I'm going to be creating a richer version of this, if you will, in a blog post that will include this video, but it will also include a bigger article that I am sharing. So if you want access to that, let me know below. You can use that magic symbol and say post or link or whatever you want to say to communicate that you want that extra information. And obviously share this if you think that those in your community would benefit from it. So, okay, let's dive in. Remember, we know that technology gives us the ability to serve people all over the world, right? Isn't that magical? I've had clients in France. I've had clients in the UK and Canada. I've had community members in so many countries, and subscribers to my newsletter in so many countries. My podcast gets to, I don't know how many different countries, but that's exciting, right? It opens us up and really breaks down those boundaries. It helps us get our message out to that bigger audience and communicate it in a much more powerful way, because there's something magical about leveraging technology, right? Whether somebody's giving you permission to come into their inbox, which is a very special space, or they're letting you into their life through video or audio, it's that great connection that you can make. But we also know it gives us access to other people and to knowledge that we'd otherwise never have. This is both good and bad. And it's especially bad for those of us who are introverted, because, you know, we're maybe looking for a reason not to leave our house. That's me. And if we love learning like I do, I truly do. I'm fascinated by life. I'm fascinated by so many different topics, and I love consuming information and I love learning. But for those who have doubts about their ability in general and doubts about their ability to get to the next level, then this can really provide both a hiding place or become a noble obstacle, as John Acuff talks about in his awesome book, Finish. If there's any book you have to read before the end of the year, that one would be it. It's one of my favorites. So we can really use technology and our access to information in general as a block to getting where we really want to go. And it can contribute to this feeling that we're in motion, but we're not really taking action. So I'm going to share what exactly is the fear of missing out, how to recognize that you have it in your business, and then how to begin to break free from it. Okay, so first of all, what's fear of missing out? I'm going to read these because these are really great definitions and I don't want to miss anything. So first of all, Merriam-Webster, FOMO itself, FOMO, was added to the Oxford Dictionary as a word, and fear of missing out as a concept. I think it was in 2013, the Oxford Dictionary added it. So here's what Merriam-Webster said. And that's one of my go-to places for definitions. I think you guys, if you're regular viewers of the show, you know that I'm a wordsmith. Fear of not being included in something that others are experiencing. So yes, this is from a social standpoint. You know, you're constantly, where are people going? What are they doing? What are the hot trends? What are the hot ideas? You feel like you're missing out on something. Urban Dictionary has a really great definition that's similar, and it says anxiety brought on by our ability to recognize potential opportunities and a form of social anxiety, a compulsive concern that one might miss an opportunity or event. And I love that definition because it really opens it up and can help you start to see how we can get this FOMO in our business as well. So it's usually referred to or connected to social media and habits of compulsively checking it from especially a social standpoint. But like I said, there really is this business FOMO. So let's look at business related FOMO and what are some signs and symptoms that you might have it. So do you constantly sign up for courses and programs, mostly free, but also paid ones? And then in all likelihood, you either don't consume them or you spend all your time consuming them and you're not doing anything else. This could lead then to maybe you're getting a ton of newsletters because you're afraid of missing some, one nugget of idea. This could be newsletters and they're all around a certain topic, right? Or maybe you get, I know one person told me once that she was getting 30 newsletters. Who can read all that? But they were in clusters of topics. So she would have like maybe 5 all around writing. And then she would have another 5 or 10 all around marketing technology. Come on. Everybody, every expert has an opinion and they're going to share that opinion. But it's rare that you're following somebody who really does have some kind of cutting edge information. And of course, we can rationalize whatever it is that we're doing. So another symptom of business FOMO is that you compulsively attend events, virtual or live, and you have anxiety when you can't attend them. So anxiety meaning you feel a level of stress. You feel like you should be there, but you're not. And that really can lead to that tension. Another symptom, you may throw yourself into learning or trying to learn every possible tech tool or latest must-do strategy and tell yourself that, again, you're missing out if you're not on that cutting-edge technology. I once got into an argument with a friend of mine who said that I had to be on Snapchat. Like, no, I'm not doing it. She said, no, you have to be, and you should broadcast on all of these channels at the same time. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that either. So you want to be able to resist this kind of temptation, but I digress. So you may also chase after and buy complex tech tools because some guru or some peer who you admire uses this fancy tech tool when in reality, it's too big for you. You're not ready for it. And it's the equivalent of using a fire hose when you need a squirt gun. So that, I think, is a real big caution for many of us, especially if we're building a brand that may inadvertently show that we're on the cutting edge. There's this, well, I have to constantly be on the cutting edge. And then all you're doing is consuming information. You're not actually taking action that's leading to anything significant for you. Or you're stuck at this plateau and you're not able to make that break. You may find yourself constantly switching gears. And I'm not talking about just tweaking your message, right? Because we all do that. Or at some point, you've got to revisit your business model so you can get to that next level of success. And so you can get out of the doing and get into more of being the face of your business or whatever model you're trying to follow. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person who just completely throws things out because I've got to go in this direction because I'm trying to follow some hot new trend. And rather than sticking to or even formulating a plan, having a strategy, and following your skills and your gifts and truly building a business. Whatever business model you choose is fine, but you're building a business and you've got to then make the trade-off of, am I getting paid only when I work, or am I building wealth by creating products and services that don't necessarily need me in the constant delivery? So that's different. That's simply making a business model decision and then a structure and then following it. But these are people who, when I think about some of the people I know, they have just bounced from area to area as they're trying to maybe find their way, or because they're telling themselves, this isn't working, I've got to do this, when there are just adjustments maybe in your messaging that need to be made. So this really does require, this is what I consider a cocktail exercise. No alcohol needs to be involved. Don't drink and drive, and don't overindulge. But, think about leaning back and stroking your chin and figuring these things out. Super important. Okay, so you may never, another symptom of the business version of FOMO is you may feel that you can just never catch up with other people. Right? This is a very sad place to be. I know people who've been in this place. There's no catching up. There's just being you. And there's building the business that you want and the life you want. You're not playing catch up with other people. And that belief can lead us right into FOMO. Right? And you may find that you just can't turn off your alerts because you tell yourself, I have to be responsive. But then you can't get anything done. So ultimately, you feel some level of stress and anxiety when you aren't working because you're missing something. You're missing something out. You're missing out on something. Okay, so let's look at how this impacts your life and your business. This fear of missing out keeps you from being present in both your life and in your work because you're constantly on high alert. This actually is a factor in ADD. So we talk about it a lot, entrepreneurial ADD, ADHD, but part of it might be that you are just conditioning yourself to not be able to focus. And with all the bells and whistles, the dinging, the pinging, and everything else that we've got going on, so many hats that we wear, so many things that we need to do, it can be easy to contribute to that. So FOMO ultimately keeps you from being as productive as you possibly could be. And it can also cause you to look scattered. So remember, we know people are judging us, right? They are. It's just the way the brain works. So everything we do sends a message that gets interpreted by other people. And if people believe you look scattered, that you don't have a focus, then they're going to question whether or not they should be working with you. Right? Because you're not a specialist. People want to work with experts in what they do. So this can then ultimately lead you to hold yourself back. So you can't get any traction. You are at a plateau and you can't break it. You can't get to that next level of success. In reality, there's some deeper issue going on here. So let's first, to get over this, the first thing you have to do is become aware of what you're doing and what you're feeling. So you want to notice how this whole concept of fear of missing out is tied to anxiety. It's that right there tells you that there's something deeper going on with you. What is it? You have to ask yourself this. What is it that you're really afraid of? And how are the activities that you're engaging in actually providing some self-soothing behavior by allowing you to avoid facing your actual fear and doing that action, that thing that you need to do in your business? So recognize what's really going on. I'm going to share some more specific strategies, as I mentioned, in the deeper blog posts that I'm doing. So if you want that, just use the hashtag, below with post or, something, link or whatever, and I'll get you that as soon as I'm done. So what you want to ask yourself a couple of questions. One is, what am I avoiding or resisting? What am I stressed or fearful of? Is it that I'm afraid ultimately that I'm not going to be relevant, or that my message isn't going out, or that I'm going to be judged? Do I doubt myself and my abilities? Because when you look outside of yourself for the answer that really ultimately is within, there's obviously self-doubt there. And I'm not saying that you don't want to follow people who can teach you actual skills or who can help you develop further. That's the nature of why we work with a coach or a trainer or a mentor, whatever word you want to use. I have a personal trainer and I pay that extra money for that extra attention because I know that person is going to push me beyond my limits. That's the nature of why we work, whether it's individually or in a small group, because we know that left to our own devices, we'll go off into the weeds, right? So this is why we invest in ourselves and our business. But here are some strategies that you can follow to get over fear of missing out in your business. First of all, pick a lane. Pick a lane. What is your primary focus? And then be okay that other people are going to work in other areas, in similar areas. You know, one of the great problems, I think, is when we have a variety of skills. Many of us who've come from corporate backgrounds actually are, I don't want to say jack of all trades, but generalists, right? When I look at my own background in corporate life, the first third of my career was spent in human resources. I wasn't really a generalist, but I had several areas that I worked in that I was good at. And I would often work in projects in different areas. And, you know, people would say, oh, you would be successful in anything. That's almost a downside. Or when I was in training, I would design, I've designed courses ranging from orientation, new hire orientation, on up to executive development type of programs. And again, we had this belief at the company where I worked, where I did that we could design anything. The problem is, though, there's no specialty. So you really want to think about, how can you become a unicorn? How can you focus on what really makes you different? Take those steps to clarify and amplify what makes you unique, and then trust in that, right? The neurosurgeon doesn't worry that he doesn't perform cardiac surgery. He's a neurosurgeon, or she's a neurosurgeon, and she's the specialist in that area. So when you have a problem with your brain, you're going to go to a neurosurgeon. Same thing with a problem in your house. When you've got a plumbing problem, you're not going to call the electrician unless you want a referral to a plumber. You're going to contact somebody who specializes in that. This also speaks to trusting yourself. You've got to be confident that you are using your greatest gifts, that you are going to make the advancements that you need to, and that you are getting your message to your ideal audience. And that's really what you're focusing on. This comes down to your point of view, ultimately. You've got to understand your beliefs about the thing that you do, and you've got to be able to stand up for those beliefs and communicate them fearlessly. Yes, I mean that, fearlessly. You must recognize and be okay with the fact that not everybody's going to like you, not everybody's going to listen to you, not everybody's going to pay attention to you. So you also then want to build a strong foundation of business basics. Yes, I love learning new strategies and new tools, absolutely. But everything is built on a foundation of basic business concepts that don't go out of style. Profit is always going to be revenue minus expenses, right? There are certain things that are just going to stay the same. You need to have a powerful outcome-focused message. You need to produce results for people. You need to solve a problem. You need to communicate in a problem-solution-oriented way. So you want to make sure that you're building that strong foundation of business basics. And when you concentrate on these things, I refer to them as the four cornerstones of business. When you focus on them, it reduces this fear of missing out, because you're staying focused on what's most important for you. And the key thing to remember is you're a leader. Yes, there are people you follow. Absolutely. We're always looking to better ourselves and improve ourselves, but you're a leader and you've got to embrace that. So a couple more strategies. One, work in blocks of time. Build your focus muscles, because focus has been identified as one of the keys to productivity and ultimately to our success. So I encourage people to, I have a timer right there behind my my monitor. And of course I have my phone. So I have my timer that is on my phone, and I have a timer. You can get a timer or just go onto a browser, open a browser window and put in timer, and one will pop up in Google. I use a timer with an audible alert and I will set a timer. I'm going to give myself, I like to work in time blocks of 15 minutes, sometimes 20. It depends on how I'm feeling on any given day and the ability I have to focus on that day. I have a brain injury and I have to manage that. So part of this is developing that awareness of who you are, what you're dealing with, and what you're managing. So I love working with a timer. And you want to make sure that during that time, you are truly focused on only one thing. Now, if you haven't built that muscle yet, one great strategy is to keep a notepad next to you. And when you feel an impulse, and in another video at some point, I'll talk about habit formation, success habit formation, and how we feel that impulse to go somewhere else and go check something. It's because an alarm bell has been rung inside us, and we're feeling a little anxiety because we're pushing ourselves. So you want to recognize that's what you're feeling, and don't give in to the impulse to lose focus. So I could go on for hours about focus because it's such an important element and something that I really spend a lot of time working on with my clients, working on with myself, and I really want to help people master this. So recognize also when your buttons get pushed and what's really pushing them. And by that, I mean, so you're in social media, right? You're in Facebook, you're on LinkedIn, you're wherever you are, you're going to see ads. You're going to be fed. Interesting, that's called a feed, isn't it? You're going to be fed these ads that the platform has decided are right for you. And depending on what it's developed this knowledge of about you, it's going to send you these ads that are really supposed to be on point for you. Well, they're naturally meant to push your buttons because they've been selected for you. And if you have issues that you search for a lot, you're going to get a lot of ads about this. Well, if you get guru ads, and you know the big names in your space, the big names in business building, you know who they are. If you get ads for these people have money to spend on top-notch copywriters. They're experts at persuasion and influence. So they know what buttons to push, and they're gonna push them. This is where you might find yourself responding to a lot of shame-based marketing, because shame will get triggered because that's the fear of missing out. And well, if you don't want to invest in your business, so you really want to start tuning in to what you're feeling the pull for and analyze, what made me want to take action on that? And that's something that we call, you can then save it, something we call a swipe file. I'll talk about swipe file at another time. But you really want to tune into what is working to make you feel like you want to sign up for that, you want to buy that, you want to respond to it, right? So here we've talked about fear of missing out from a business standpoint, what it is, why it gets triggered, and then what you can do to begin to master it. Because this issue of staying focused and trusting in yourself and taking action, real action, not just motion, like shuffling papers around, and it's the virtual version of shuffling papers around. This is what's going to help you get to that next level of success, whatever that level is, whether you're in building phase in your business development life cycle, or you're at a plateau and you're trying to break through to that next level. Breaking free from and facing your fear of missing out is going to help you really take action and move forward faster. So if you know this is an issue for you, and if you're serious about getting focused, and you can recognize that this is going to be a key for success for you in the coming year, then I'm going to invite you to take part in a workshop I'm doing. It's a very special seminar, workshop, because there's a lot of hands-on time. Every fourth quarter, I do a workshop for my mastermind group called Next Big Leap. The workshop is Path to Success. And what we're doing in this workshop, and we do it, like I said, every fourth quarter, we really create the roadmap, a strategic plan for the coming year. And this year, I'm going to have them really focus on these 4 cornerstones of business. So, and what are they? Finance, clients, organizational development, and yes, you have an organization, even if it's you, right? And process. We're going to look at only that and creating a plan around that to really keep focused and help you achieve your biggest goals. I'm opening this up to a few extra people. So I have room for 4 people in it. If you think you're interested, send me a message. You can either message me below here and I'll reach out to you directly, or you can PM me. I can tell you that what I'm, like I said, I'm only allowing 4 extra people in it. And yes, there's a price associated with it. It will never be this low again. I can promise you that. And if you've ever taken anything with me, you know I'm not kidding. So I strongly recommend that you reach out to me, message me, PM me, sign up, and I will get you the link. I don't have a sales page for it. We're going to focus on strategic planning and narrowing your focus. So like I said, if you're interested, let me know. So if you know that this has been holding you back, it's time. It's time for you to take action. Starts with self-awareness. Starts with really analyzing what you're doing, what you're feeling, and why you're allowing yourself to get distracted. And yes, I'm telling you, you're allowing yourself to get distracted. And it also means that it's time for you to put a flag in the sand and really become the unicorn and become confident in the actions that you take. And if you'd like help, know that Path to Success is the workshop that is for you. This is a great opportunity for you to really get focused, get some hand-on feedback in a small group from me. So, and I have a workbook that you're going to fill out, and it's really going to be a guide for you moving forward so you can make the coming year or the coming quarter or wherever you are when you're watching this, so you can make it a great one. All right, that's it for now. Have a great rest of the day. Again, ask questions, make comments. I always circle back. I promise I will respond. If you want the recording for this, it's only up until Monday at 9 a.m. But whenever you're watching this, and if you're watching this on replay and you want access to this again, you're going to want to get into the vault. And to do that, you go to couragepodcastfan.com. You're going to get access to the entire back catalog of the Courageous Entrepreneur Show, including this event. But I hope to see you in Path to Success or see you inside the vault. All right, bye for now. Have a fabulous rest of the day. Oh, here, Ellen has said, I can vividly remember a speaker when I was in here times with times. Find a specialty for one. Yeah, exactly, Ellen. Find a specialty. Those people, I worked in human resources. People who were specialists made more money. Doctors really get this. Attorneys really get this. I use the example of the neurologist. Neurologist makes more money than a family doctor. An attorney, my husband, is a true unicorn. He's the only person a lot of times who does what he does, which makes him highly desirable. And yes, he can command a great salary, but it makes it hard also to find an opportunity. So you have to make sure that you're getting your message out so people are finding you. And I just had a problem with my word. Anyway, just all of a sudden restarted. Anyhow, so yes, finding a specialty is really a big key. And it's something that I have continued to do as I've built my own business. And I focus on helping people nail their message, position and pre-sell themselves, right? So they get clarity on their message, they get their message out, and I help them do that. Get clear, get their message out, and reach their goals along the way. All right, so have a fabulous time. Keep questioning, asking comments, making comments, and I promise I will get back to you. Have a fab rest of the day. Bye for now.